Hello everyone, this is probably my first video, and I'm really starting it off with a bang, by having my first content be Garten of Banban related. Garten, not whatever. I think it's supposed to be German. But anyway, so I am a university student who is currently going to school, actually for game story writing. Well, you know, I'm a creative writing major, but I want to put it to use in game development, writing stories that are, you know, good for game format and all that stuff. So I wanted to tackle one of the most famously bad games, I guess you could say. Now, Garten of Banban has been the subject of many controversies in the gaming industry, and if you're here, I probably don't need to go into big detail about those, but if you've even looked at a Garten of Banban character, you will very rapidly realize that these look terrible. They look awful. They look like I don't even know how to put this into words. I'll put some pictures up of what they look like canonically. They're just veiny beasts of incomprehensible terror. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Some of these designs make me sick. Honestly, I wish I was over-exaggerating for the funnies, but I don't want to waste my time like that. So, I thought, you know, I want to fix this game. I might not, honestly. That's a pretty big, claim. But to be fair, I don't really think it's that difficult. I'm not remaking it because I'm not a game developer, and I know that the Euphoric brothers don't really like remakes anyway. So that's not really what I'm trying to do here, but it's more of just a concept proposal with character redesign. A brief description of what I'd change about their stories. I kind of changed a lot. It's kind of an entirely different thing at this point. So, the brief concept of Garten of Banban, SparkNote's summary, the canon game, it's about a parent who is going to try and find their child in a daycare. And this daycare is massive, and it has several living mascots, and it's probably even bigger than the Pizzaplex from Security Breach. I'm not even gonna lie at this point. Because right now there's 8 games, I think. So that's a lot of different parts of this facility. It's supposed to be a kindergarten, but it's also a warehouse, office, lab, giant abyssal canyon parkour building with 8 floors, because every floor ends with going down an elevator. And I know I could probably figure out how to make the story work within a smaller space, but usually these kinds of buildings, especially daycares, are a lot smaller. And Garten of Banban has quite the cinematic, expansive story. So I wanted to kind of follow the same story beats without using such a massive area. It feels kind of, I know this is going to sound hypocritical with everything, and the story I'm about to tell you, but it just feels a bit unrealistic. And so, I decided for my retelling, I guess, it could still be this big story with a bunch of set pieces and, areas for all of the mascots, but instead of the whole Givanium thing that's like, it brings them to life. It's like a chemical or a medical product or whatever. Instead of making the mascots living, I was going to make them digital characters in an educational game. So, I'm not sure if some people are gonna know this, but I was thinking something like iReady. That might be a Californian thing. I don't know if other people have iReady, but I guess another example would be kind of like, I don't know, Cool Math Games. Cool Math Games isn't really educational, though. But think of every, like, kids' educational game that you had to play growing up, where it has lesson by lesson sort of curriculum, but they try and make it funner for kids by having little mascot characters and stuff. So, I think this would be a great format, especially because all of the characters could fit into different categories for the educational game shtick. So, for this part, I wanted to go over, like, the first 3 characters, I guess, that you see in the game, or the games, and how they would fit into this new concept. So that would be Opila Bird, obviously, and then Banban and Bandolina. And I know there are other characters that we meet, like, I think Captain Fiddles and Nab Nab and Slow Celine. There are so many characters in these games, it's actually insane. I just want to preface, I'm not putting all of them into this game concept. There's only going to be a few that are, like, really important. So I'm just going to focus on those 3 characters for now. Now, technically, Slow Celine is in this version, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I haven't even drawn her yet, but I'll briefly go over what her thing is as I go into the concept. So, let's start with Banban, because even though you meet Opila Bird first in the games, Banban is important to understanding the concept of the story best. So, this website, I think, I don't have an official name for it yet, but it's a browser game website, so it's not like a separate application. Thus, they have a customer support or, parent support tab where you can ask questions and figure out, like, what lesson is best for your kid and their grade level and all of that kind of stuff. And, of course, there's a separate mascot for this, the titular Banban. He's not whatever he is in the first, or the canon game. I have no idea what he is. I've seen some people speculate that he's supposed to be a devil. I don't know why they would make a devil mascot for a kindergarten. I have no idea. I also don't really see the resemblance, to be honest, to a devil. Like, I'll put his picture back up again. What even is that? What is that thing? He looks like when I would get an Airhead bar and I would rub it between my hands so I could morph it into clay. He looks like that. I'm not even joking. What's with the party hats? I don't know. I think that's definitely what he's supposed to be, a devil, especially looking at his, like, whatever, I don't know, like, evil form. But I figured, I don't know, the website, and honestly, in my opinion, the kindergarten should maybe have a sort of theme with their mascot characters. It's like company branding. The designs as of right now are just kind of all over the place. Some of them are animals, some of them are animals that can talk. They're like anthropomorphic animals, like Mickey Mouse. Some of them are like humanoid-ish, like Banban and Bambolina aren't animals, but they're also not human. are designed to look like humans. And don't get me started on Zolphius, or whatever that thing is. So, the reason I bring this up is I wanted to give all of them, like, cohesive designs, so you can believe that they're all from the same cast. And I decided, I don't know, maybe it's just because making anthropomorphic animal characters is just more visually interesting to me, but I decided to make them all animals. So, Banban, as you can probably see, he is now a jackalope. I thought about doing a ram, or a sheep, or something. I think that would also have been a good one, especially like, you know, biblical themes or whatever. But I decided upon jackalopes because jackalopes are still sort of like mythological. I think that kids would still find them cute and unique. So I made Banban and Banbalina jackalopes. Plus, you know, the opportunity for Banban and Banbalina, like, it's right there. It's right there. I feel like that would be cute. So anyway, Banban is the sort of help guide on the website, kind of help you figure out where you should be. You know, you can ask him questions, he'll give you an answer. The story sort of progresses. In this version, there's still a mom looking, or parent, but I made the parent a mom because I wanted the player character to have more of a solid identity than rather just like someone you can just project onto. The mom is still looking for their kid who used to play this game, this website all the time, and just kind of mysteriously disappeared while playing it. And so the mom isn't really getting any help from any law forces because who's gonna believe that? So her last-ditch effort is kind of talking to the CPU, maybe getting hints about, like, did she type anything in to any of the tests, or did she draw anything that hinted something bad was happening? And Banban is helping her with that, but at the same time he's got a bit of an attitude. He's a bit snippy, so he's not the most helpful. He's kind of just really annoying. So moving on to Apila Bird, she looks kind of similar to how she looked before, but instead of just being just a whole bird, like just a regular bird, she can't talk in the game either. I made her able to do that. I wanted to make all of them similar, like I said before. So, I made her into this very sort of like, I guess, stereotypical idea of like motherhood, you know? She is supposed to represent those traditional ideas, I guess. Though the website itself isn't using her as like propaganda. She's just very cooking mama, sort of like guiding character. Her segments on the website would probably be helping with, you know, cognitive development, matching games, and cooking games, I feel. Life skills, I guess. Though, obviously this would be for a younger demographic, so it wouldn't be too intense. She'd be this very comforting character who, you know, she probably cares a lot about the kids, because she has so many of her own. She has like 5, just like the game. I think that at the very beginning, she'd be antagonistic towards the mom. Not really tell her much, but it's out of concern for her own kids. There's this like stranger trying to intrude and poke into every corner of their world, and she is just very unsure about it. But I think that she would come around eventually. probably upon something happening to her own family dynamic. Well, Pila Bird is gonna do what she has to, but she's not gonna actively get involved if she doesn't need to. Here is Banbalina. She's also a jackalope. I figured maybe female ones were not gonna have horns, but then I realized I don't really care that much. Like, I don't know. It's just, how else are you gonna know she's not just a regular bunny? So I gave her little baby antlers, because I think that makes her cuter as well. I replicated her bow with ears, because I didn't want the design to get too cluttered. So her ears are just tied up into a little bow. And she's got a cute little teacher's outfit on. So she's still a teacher in this, because technically all of them are, but she's kind of like the principal, I guess. So she's in charge of a lot of lessons. You see her in a lot of the game sessions as a background character. She might have her own sections. I feel like she would be sort of like the main mascots behind the tests. Your kid is taking a test, she'll be up in the corner, and she'll have like definitions and stuff, you know, during standardized testing when you can look up what words mean and stuff. Yeah, I feel like she'd be able to offer that, and like a little notepad and stuff. But in the actual like game lessons, she'd just be a side character who talks to them occasionally. She'd be friendly with all of the mascot characters. I feel like she'd really only not like Banban, because he doesn't really teach the kids anything. He just kind of, you know, sits around and answers questions, and he doesn't even do that well. I feel like she'd have some hidden resentment towards not being the mascot character, and that she does everything, kind of, for the program, but she still doesn't get to claim that title. She was still only really made to be like the Minnie Mouse counterpart for Banban, but yet she still does so much more work. So that's her story, and I do think that this resentment would eventually lead to her not being compliant with the player, because in her brain, you know, the player is really just siding with Banban. Once she figures out, you know, that they went to the least informed party member, it would just peak for her, and she wouldn't be interested in helping us at all. So yeah, I hope that you guys liked this concept art. I liked it. And I will add some more characters. I might not focus on sequential order in the next one. I am hoping to do the following characters. I want to incorporate Stinger Flynn. I want to figure out how to make Jumbo Josh relevant. I want to add Bitter Giggle and Sheriff Toadster. And Slow Celine isn't really going to get an official illustration, but I wanted her to be kind of like when the website crashes or you go to an HTML that isn't working anymore, it's like she has a little unique pop-up where she's like talking about how like, oh, looks like our website is slow, you know, check again another time. So that's kind of her main function. She's just kind of like the slow Wi-Fi dinosaur, or the no Wi-Fi dinosaur for Google. So yeah, that's what she does, and hopefully this concept is a unique and original take on these characters. I know I could have made it a kindergarten, like a real kindergarten, but I didn't really want to have to work through all of the intricacies of the Givanium stuff, and if you really want a good theory on how Givanium works, I would check out the official game theory video on the science behind it. They did a great job over there. coming up with this really unique concept. For me, personally, I think that these characters would be very cute as educational game characters for kindergarten to elementary schoolers. Yeah, thank you for watching.